Plato's allegory of the cave presents a striking metaphor for the human journey from ignorance to enlightenment. In the story, prisoners are chained within a cave, able only to see shadows cast on the wall by unseen figures behind them. These shadows represent a reality shaped entirely by others, an illusion carefully crafted and maintained. To the prisoners, the shadows are all they know and all they believe to be real, unaware that a greater, truer world exists beyond the cave. This allegory remains powerfully relevant today as we navigate an era where artificial intelligence and digital algorithms increasingly shape our perception of reality. Just as Plato's prisoners were confined to a constructed illusion, are we becoming similarly trapped in a digital cave? In the age of AI, are we seeing reality, or are we merely perceiving shadows created by the algorithms and tech companies that control our information landscape? In Plato's vision, the prisoners are at the mercy of the guards or puppet masters who control the images and shadows projected on the cave walls. These figures orchestrate what the prisoners see, limiting their understanding and shaping their sense of reality. Plato's guards represent the forces that mediate, control, or distort information, preventing individuals from encountering the truth directly. Today, these guards can be seen in the form of tech companies, governments, and media influencers. Those who wield control over the algorithms and AI systems that curate and distribute information. These digital puppet masters dictate what content is highlighted, what is suppressed, and what narratives are allowed to thrive. Just as Plato's guards used physical and mechanical means to create an illusory reality, modern guards use AI and algorithms to project a digital reality that can shape our beliefs and limit the scope of our understanding. Algorithms decide the news we see on our social feeds, the recommended videos we watch, and the advertisements tailored to our perceived interests. In this way, those who create and control these algorithms hold an unprecedented influence over what many of us view as reality. Are we, like Plato's prisoners, living within a shadow of the truth? Artificial intelligence operates through complex algorithms that curate and filter content to provide users with information tailored to their preferences and behaviors. This can be a useful feature, helping us find what we're interested in more quickly, but it also introduces limitations that Plato might view as creating digital shadows, obscuring reality. A key concept here is the filter bubble, an environment in which an algorithm only shows users information that aligns with their past behaviors, limiting exposure to new or conflicting ideas. This echo chamber effect can reinforce pre-existing beliefs, giving users a distorted view of reality where only certain perspectives are visible. For instance, someone who frequently watches videos on a particular topic may find themselves receiving a steady stream of similar content, reinforcing the notion that this limited view is representative of the larger world. If Plato were to arrive in our world today, his philosophical critique of AI and the digital landscape might quickly capture public attention and potentially raise alarms among those in power. Imagine Plato, transported from ancient Athens, standing on a modern stage, passionately addressing the crowd, cautioning against the seductive illusions created by AI. He would likely emphasize two critical concepts: the importance of direct experience and reflection, and the double-edged nature of AI as both a tool for enlightenment and a potential obstacle to true understanding. Plato would likely begin by describing the concept of direct experience. To him, real understanding isn't something that can be handed down or mediated through an external system. It must come from personal reflection, a process he saw as essential to reaching wisdom. In his era, he urged his followers to look beyond appearances, to challenge the accepted truths and dig deeper into the nature of reality. Today, he would argue that the proliferation of algorithm-driven information makes it harder to access this unmediated understanding. In his view, AI is a powerful but dangerous tool that risks leading people into mental passivity, bombarding them with information that is tailored to their preferences but distant from their own reflective thinking. Direct experience is replaced by algorithmically generated realities, subtly guiding our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs in ways that may go undetected. Plato might contend that while AI holds immense potential to broaden our access to information, it simultaneously limits our capacity to connect personally with the truth, making us more susceptible to misinformation and manipulation. To Plato, the only path to true knowledge lies in reflection, in confronting the limitations of what we see and think, and in seeking answers that emerge from within. He would likely urge people to step away from the constant stimulation of their digital lives and seek moments of solitude and critical thought, seeing these as essential antidotes to the shadows projected by AI. Plato's critique of AI wouldn't necessarily be dismissive or technophobic. He would likely acknowledge that AI, like all powerful tools, has the potential to both illuminate and deceive. To Plato, AI's gift is its capacity to gather and organize vast amounts of information, providing access to insights and ideas that would otherwise be scattered and inaccessible. In this sense, AI could serve as a valuable aid in humanity's pursuit of knowledge, potentially opening doors to new understandings of science, medicine, and even philosophy. However, Plato would quickly shift focus to the risks. In his allegory, the shadows on the cave wall are not inherently dangerous. It is the prisoner's unawareness of them as illusions that creates the problem. Similarly, Plato might argue that AI itself is not the enemy. Rather, it's the way people engage with AI, often passively accepting its recommendations and narratives, that breeds a deeper entrapment. If AI is used merely to make the shadows brighter and more convincing, then it becomes a tool of deception, leading society further into illusion. In a world where deep fakes can distort reality, social media algorithms can shape opinions, and targeted ads can influence behavior, Plato would caution that AI risks becoming a sophisticated form of confinement. He'd argue that if society allows AI to dictate our realities, then humanity is at risk of building a more complex, more immersive cave than any envisioned in ancient times. This new cave may be constructed from pixels, data streams, and persuasive algorithms, but it is, in essence, just another prison for the mind. In his speeches, Plato would challenge society to reflect on a pressing question. Have we created a more sophisticated cave, one that's more immersive and convincing than anything imagined in his time? His warning would be clear. If people surrender their autonomy to AI-driven narratives, they risk being confined within a digital cave where the lines between reality and illusion blur irreversibly. Plato would emphasize that humanity's journey toward enlightenment demands that we resist the temptation to consume information passively, and instead engage actively and critically with the world around us. However, Plato's philosophy, while deeply insightful, might make him a target for those who benefit from this digital status quo. Imagine the reaction of those in power. Governments relying on AI to manage and monitor populations, corporations profiting from algorithms that maximize engagement, and influencers whose reach depends on the echo chambers created by curated content. Plato's words would be viewed not just as philosophy, but as a subversive threat to the structures of digital influence and control that these powerful entities depend on. As his critique gained traction, It wouldn't be surprising if Plato found himself under scrutiny from authorities. The more he spoke, the more his ideas would unsettle the guardians of the digital age. Imagine him being approached by government agents after a particularly impassioned speech, their intention clear. His ideas were spreading too widely, too quickly, challenging the foundations of a system that relies on digital control and conformity. In an echo of Socrates' fate, Plato might be taken into custody, charged with disrupting public order or threatening social stability. News of Plato's arrest would undoubtedly spark a wave of controversy. Supporters would view him as a modern-day philosopher who dared to speak against the silent tyranny of algorithms and AI manipulation, while critics would label him a disruptive force undermining the order and convenience that AI-driven systems provide. From his prison cell, Plato might continue to write and reflect, urging others to recognize the dangers of an unexamined life in the digital era. His message would persist even in confinement. AI, if used thoughtlessly, is nothing more than a new set of chains, binding humanity to an illusion of convenience and enlightenment while, in truth, distancing them further from wisdom and self-discovery. If Plato were allowed to speak one last time before a trial or sentencing, he might urge society to use AI as an aid to wisdom rather than a creator of shadows. He would likely conclude by challenging each individual to see themselves not as passive consumers of information, but as seekers of truth, capable of breaking free from the digital cave if they engage critically and actively with the information around them. Through his arrest, Plato's message might resonate even more strongly. Are we content to live within a more elaborate, digital cave, or will we challenge ourselves to see beyond the shadows cast by modern technology? His story would inspire many to question the balance between convenience and control, between knowledge and manipulation, leaving a profound impact on how society views AI and its role in shaping our understanding of reality. Moreover, AI-driven misinformation, like deepfakes and synthetic media, adds another layer of distortion. Just as Plato's shadows misled the prisoners, these digitally fabricated pieces can create false realities that appear deceptively authentic. From manipulated videos of public figures to entirely fabricated news stories, AI can generate shadows that mislead and confuse, creating a reality where distinguishing truth from illusion becomes increasingly difficult. Are we losing our grasp on reality, mistaking these digital projections for the truth? The concept of being trapped within a cave of illusion speaks to the potential for AI to deepen our separation from reality. By continuously feeding us content that aligns with our habits and preferences, AI can narrow our worldview, potentially making it harder to pursue objective truth or consider alternative perspectives. This digital confinement poses a philosophical challenge. How do we break free from the AI-curated cave and move toward a fuller understanding of the world? Plato believed in the importance of seeking knowledge directly through reason and questioning, but AI tends to provide answers before we ask questions, subtly encouraging passive acceptance. In a world where AI amplifies certain realities while hiding others, what does it mean to seek the truth? Escaping this modern cave requires digital literacy and critical thinking. Digital literacy equips individuals with the tools to recognize biases, understand algorithms, and assess the credibility of information sources. Critical thinking encourages us to question the shadows we encounter online, challenging us to look beyond the surface of the content we consume. These skills are essential if we hope to step outside the digital shadows, illuminating a broader and more accurate understanding of reality. If Plato were to view the role of AI today, he might see a profound threat to human enlightenment, For Plato, true knowledge is attained through personal understanding and direct engagement with the truth, not through mediated shadows. In a world dominated by algorithmically curated content, AI risks distancing us from this direct path to wisdom. AI, when applied without reflection, locks us into cycles of automated information consumption, reinforcing what we already think we know. Plato might argue that this reliance on mediated information keeps us in the shadows, distancing us from the reflective, reasoned engagement he believed was essential for true knowledge. However, he might also see potential in AI as a tool that, when used wisely, could broaden access to knowledge rather than narrowing it. To prevent AI from becoming an obstacle to enlightenment, it must be approached thoughtfully, with an awareness of its power to both clarify and obscure the truth. AI's role in shaping information demands that we carefully consider the ethical implications of how it is used. Are we seeking to illuminate reality, or are we content with ever more sophisticated shadows? As we grapple with the implications of AI and algorithms, Plato's allegory invites us to question: are we using AI to break free from our own limitations, or are we building a more elaborate cave with brighter, more captivating shadows? In this age of unprecedented technological capability, the path forward depends on our ability to use AI as a means of expanding our understanding rather than confining it. This philosophical challenge calls on each of us to reflect on our relationship with technology. Are we moving toward enlightenment, or are we unwittingly entrenching ourselves further within the shadows? Share your thoughts. Do you feel AI enhances your understanding of reality, or does it obscure it? Are we closer to freedom, or simply finding new walls within our digital cave?